Okay, so jumping right into it, we've got a fascinating deep dive on our hands today.
Oh, absolutely. This one's a doozy.
We're talking Augusta Precious Metals. You guys sent us a super detailed review of them, competitor comparisons, real customer experiences, the whole 9 yards.
It's packed with information.
Yeah, so we're going to cut through that, pull out the important stuff, and basically figure out what Augusta brings to the table in the world of gold and silver IRAs.
We've gone through the fine print, all the details, so you don't have to.
That's right.
Yeah, and we're looking beyond just that surface level, trying to paint a clear picture of what their services really look like and how they're operating in this market.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, the review calls out their specialization in gold and silver IRAs.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not just about, like, buying a gold coin here and there.
Right, it's not just dabbling.
Yeah. They're talking about seriously adding physical precious metals to your retirement savings.
Strategic, yeah.
And I found that to be an interesting distinction.
Yeah, it is because, when you think about it, that singular focus on IRAs, it kind of implies a real deep level of specialization.
I see.
They're not trying to be everything to everyone, like some firms that might handle all sorts of different investments.
Right, they've got their lane.
Augusta seems to be concentrating on this very specific niche within the precious metals market, within retirement accounts.
Right, I'm with you.
And that could suggest, a higher level of expertise
Oh, interesting.
in navigating. I mean, because let's be honest, the rules and regulations around these types of accounts can be pretty complex.
Oh, yeah.
It can get really hairy. So they're basically saying, this is our sandbox and we know it inside and out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Another thing that jumped out at me from the review was Augusta's emphasis on education. It seems like they're genuinely invested in making sure you actually understand what you're doing before you jump in.
That's huge. And that is a big differentiator.
It is.
I mean, a lot of firms out there, it's just like sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. Just give us your money.
Give us your money. But the review highlights how proactive they are with their educational resources.
That's true.
You've got materials that you can read at your own pace.
Right, so no pressure.
No pressure at all.
Yeah.
And then they've got those interactive webinars.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just static information, it's engaging. It's getting people involved.
So they're really trying to bring you along on that journey.
Absolutely.
And this whole idea of assigning a personal agent to each client, I think that really speaks volumes about their commitment to education.
Oh, for sure. Because it's like having a dedicated guide right there with you.
Yeah, a helping hand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And from what I'm gathering from the customer feedback in the review, that personal touch seems to be making a real difference. People seem generally pretty satisfied, and a lot of that praise is going straight to their customer service, especially the personal agent system.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise, right? When you look at the feedback and you see those consistently positive comments about that personalized guidance, it really tells you something.
It speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, setting up a precious metals IRA, it can be pretty daunting.
Oh, absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot to it, a lot of intricacies. So having that dedicated agent there to walk you through it step by step, it just makes the whole process a lot smoother,
Right.
a lot less intimidating, especially for people who are be new to this type of investment.
For sure.
Yeah, that one-on-one support, it just builds a sense of trust and confidence.
Right. You feel like you've got someone in your corner.
Exactly.
Now, let's be real for a second. No company's going to have perfect reviews across the board, right?
Ah,
And this review does bring up some concerns that popped up, particularly around fluctuations in precious metals prices.
right. That's the market reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the price of gold and silver, it's inherently tied to market forces.
Yeah, ebb and flow.
Augusta can't control that.
Right. But what the review indicates is that they prioritize keeping their clients informed. Okay, communication is key. Communication transparency, that's key. Got it. So they focus on price transparency and offering insights into what's driving those market dynamics.
So they're not leaving people in the dark.
No, they're giving them context, explaining, okay, here are the factors that can influence these metal prices.
So at least you have some understanding of what's going on.
Exactly. Helps manage expectations and make sure clients understand, the bigger picture.
Right, right. So taking a step back, how does Augusta actually stack up against other companies out there that are doing similar things? I mean, most of them seem to be offering gold and silver IRAs, right?
Yeah, that's true. The core offering is pretty standard across the industry, right? You've got your gold and silver IRAs, you've got your physical metals.
Right, the basics.
The basics. But where Augusta seems to really set themselves apart, based on the review, is in that exceptional level of customer service and that ongoing dedication to education.
They're going above and beyond. They're not just giving you information at the start and then saying, see you later,
Right, good luck.
good luck. They're actually building a relationship with you.
Interesting.
Continuous support, knowledge sharing, that's where they shine.
So it's a more holistic approach.
It is. It really is.
I like that.
Yeah, and that personalized approach, having your own point person, that seems to be a major factor in how they differentiate themselves.
Okay, let's get down to the brass tacks here. Financial side of things.
Right, the nitty-gritty.
The review dives into Augusta's fee structure. So what should our listener be aware of when it comes to the costs associated with working with Augusta?
So the review describes Augusta's fee structure as transparent, which is always a good sign.
Absolutely.
They clearly lay out all the costs involved, including those fees for setting up a new IRA,
Right.
your annual custodian fees, storage fees for your metals. It's all there.
Okay, so no hidden surprises.
No, they're not trying to pull a fast one on you.
That's good.
Yeah, and importantly, these fees are described as being competitive within the market.
Okay, so they're in line with what everyone else is doing.
Right. They're not out here price gouging or anything.
That's reassuring.
And the review really contrasts this transparency with, some other firms where those fees might be less clear.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, or potentially hidden. You get hit with them later.
Hey, yeah.
So understanding the full cost picture up front, that's absolutely crucial for any investor.
No question about it.
No.
Another thing that I found reassuring in the review was how Augusta handles situations where customers have concerns. They seem to take a very proactive approach to addressing complaints.
That's important. You want a company that stands behind their service.
Right. They're not just going to brush you off.
Exactly. And they've got a clear policy for returns, which is good to see.
That's good. So you've got some recourse.
You do.
So what stood out to you in the review about how they approach customer satisfaction?
Well, a company's responsiveness to issues, that really reveals a lot about their commitment to keeping their customers happy.
It shows they care.
Right. And the review really emphasizes Augusta's dedication to finding those timely resolutions.
Not letting things drag on.
No, and they actively use customer feedback to improve their service.
Oh, they're actually listening.
They're listening and they're learning, which is great.
It's a good sign.
And there's this quote attributed to their CEO, Isaac Nariani. He says, "We take every piece of feedback seriously and strive to make sure all of our customers are completely satisfied with our service."
That's a powerful statement.
It is. It shows that they're not just paying lip service to customer satisfaction. They mean it.
They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly.
I also thought it was cool how the review gave some specific examples of how they handle issues, like reaching out to customers personally, offering solutions like replacements or refunds.
Yeah, they're not just throwing generic solutions at problems. They're getting into the specifics.
Right. They're tailoring their response.
Right. Exactly.
And there was that case study about a customer who was initially confused about the pricing.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
What did you take away from that?
Well, I think it really illustrates how Augusta's team goes the extra mile,
They didn't just give a quick answer.
No, they provided a detailed breakdown of their market analysis, educated the customer on the factors that influence pricing, and really took the time to make sure the customer understood.
Wow, so they turned a potential negative into a positive.
They did. They addressed the immediate issue, but they also strengthened the customer's trust in the company.
It's a good example of their service philosophy in action.
It really is.
Now, this review that we've been talking about, written by Doug Young, it mentioned another review done by Brian Pannebecker.
Right, another perspective.
Did we get any specific details from Mr. Pannebecker's point of view in our source material?
So the review that we've been analyzing, it mentions that they included Brian Pannebecker's review as part of their overall assessment of Augusta Precious Metals. While it didn't go into the specific details and conclusions of Pannebecker's review,
Okay.
its inclusion suggests that they're taking multiple viewpoints into account.
So it's a more well-rounded evaluation.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk directly to our listener for a second.
Sure.
If you're out there weighing your options, thinking about a precious metal firm, what are the key takeaways from this review that should be on your checklist?
Well, based on Doug Young's analysis, several critical factors emerge. The firm's reputation, what are other customers saying?
Word of mouth is important.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
The range of products and services that they offer, does that align with your investment goals?
Right. So do your research.
The transparency and structure of their fees, crucial for understanding the true cost of investing.
No one wants hidden fees.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And perhaps most importantly, the quality of their customer service and support.
That can make or break the experience.
It really can.
Yeah.
Along with the educational resources they provide, do they empower you to make informed
Right, you
decisions?
want to feel confident.
Exactly.
And the review even provides a really helpful checklist for gauging a firm's reliability.
It's a great resource.
It is. What are some of the key indicators to look for?
So you want to look for those consistently positive reviews and testimonials from other investors.
The proof is in the pudding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A clear and straightforward process for setting up and managing your account.
You don't want to be jumping through hoops.
No, it should be simple.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well-defined compliance procedures, making sure they're operating by the book.
Got to make sure they're legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Transparent fees, no hidden surprises.
that's a big one.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Ongoing support and educational resources showing that they're committed to you beyond just the initial sale.
That's the long-term view.
Exactly.
And finally, a proven track record of effectively addressing and resolving customer complaints.
Because things happen, right?
They do.
So you want to know that they can handle them professionally and fairly.
It's all about peace of mind.
It really is.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Based on everything we've talked about in this comprehensive review, what's the overall verdict on Augusta Precious Metals? What are their main strengths, and were there any areas where they could improve?
So overall, the review paints a pretty positive picture of Augusta Precious Metals.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, they come across as a reputable and reliable option for precious metals investing.
Right.
Their standout strengths seem to be that highly personalized customer service model, the extensive educational resources they provide, and their commitment to fee transparency.
They're hitting all the right notes.
They are.
Now, the review did mention that, like any company dealing with market-driven commodities, there can be concerns about price fluctuations. But it also emphasized that Augusta's proactive customer service team is pretty effective in addressing those situations.
Yeah, they're not shying away from those tough conversations.
That's good.
And overall, they seem particularly well suited for investors who really value education, transparency, and a high level of individualized support.
They've got a clear target audience in mind.
They do.
Now, I thought the frequently asked questions section in the review was super helpful.
Oh, yeah, it's a great resource.
It is. So let's touch on a couple of the key questions they addressed.
Okay.
First up, what did the review say makes Augusta unique?
So they emphasize that personalized customer service, having that dedicated agent assigned to each
It's
client.
human touch.
It is.
Yeah.
And their strong emphasis on providing comprehensive education to help clients make those informed decisions.
It's all about empowerment.
Exactly.
And what about transparency? How does Augusta ensure they're operating in a transparent way, according to the review?
So the review highlighted their clear and upfront communication about all fees involved.
No surprises there.
No surprises.
Okay.
Their provision of detailed market analysis to help clients understand what's influencing those precious metal prices.
They're pulling back the curtain. It's exactly. And all the educational materials they offer, it's really about promoting understanding.
They want their clients to be informed.
Now, let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, this sounds good, but what if I need to access my funds? Can I easily liquidate my precious metals investments with Augusta?
Yeah, that's a good question, and the review did address that.
Okay, good.
So they do have a buyback policy in place.
That's reassuring.
It is.
Yeah.
While the final price will depend on the market conditions at the time of liquidation,
Of course.
Augusta aims to make the process as smooth as possible with your personal agent there to assist you every step of the way.
So you're not just left on your own to figure it out.
No, they're there with you.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Finally, what are the absolute must-haves that someone should keep in mind when they're thinking about investing in a precious metals IRA, based on what this review had to say?
The review really stressed the importance of evaluating the provider's reputation and overall reliability. Are they a trustworthy company?
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they adhere to regulatory compliance? Are they operating by the book?
You don't want to get caught up in something shady?
No, absolutely not.
What else?
The specific types and purity of eligible precious metals they offer?
So not all metals are created equal?
Exactly. Do your due diligence there.
Got it.
The complete fee structure, no hidden costs.
Ought to be transparent.
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
The level of customer support and educational resources they provide.
It's all about feeling supported and informed.
Absolutely.
Okay. And anything else?
Yeah, the ease and clarity of both the purchase and liquidation processes, making sure those transactions are smooth and straightforward.
You don't want any headaches?
No, it should be a hassle-free experience.
I think it's also important to acknowledge Doug Young, the author of this review.
Oh, absolutely. His expertise adds a lot of weight to the analysis.
His bio mentions over 2 decades of experience in financial investing, commodity trading, precious metals, and he's got extensive experience evaluating gold IRA companies.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
He's not just some random person off the street.
No, he's a credible source.
And now, for the sake of transparency, it's super important for you, our listener, to know that the review included a disclosure.
Right, gotta be upfront about that.
It mentioned that the website owners might receive compensation for recommending certain precious metals companies.
Standard practice.
It is.
But it's something to be aware of.
And that could potentially influence the neutrality or independence of the content.
It's always good to consider multiple sources and do your own thorough research before making any investment decisions.
That's a golden rule.
It is.
Don't just take one person's word for it.
Exactly. Gather as much information as you can.
And if you're interested in learning more about Augusta Precious Metals, the review conveniently provides their contact number, which is 855-386-4202.
Yeah, reach out, ask questions, do your due diligence.
So to sum up our deep dive into this Augusta Precious Metals review, the key takeaways are their strong emphasis on client education, their personalized service model with dedicated agents, and their commitment to transparent business practices.
Yeah, they're really trying to create a positive customer experience.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to reiterate that this review is just a starting point.
It's a foundation for your own research.
Right, it's a jumping off point.
Exactly.
And now, before we wrap up completely, here's something for you to ponder. Considering how crucial it is to diversify your investment portfolio and plan for your long-term financial security,
Right. Got to think about the future.
how might precious metals and a company like Augusta Precious Metals, as presented in this review, potentially fit into your unique investment strategy?
It's a good question to ask yourself.
It is.
Take some time to consider your own risk tolerance, your financial goals, and don't be afraid to explore further on your own. Do some digging, see what makes sense for you.
It's all about finding the right fit for your individual circumstances.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Augusta Precious Metals. We hope you found this insightful and informative.
Until next time.
Take care.